Mine as well. Can't see me.
Can't see.
Can't see the frame.
Because we've made it such that only these two parts.
The other hack that you can do is actually you film landscape.
Yeah.
You film
So you
landscape,
film landscape.
and then you just crop in the middle. It should be okay one. That's a catchphrase. And with that,
we begin the
present to
podcast.
you. That is the cue.
Okay, let's try to get something going lah.
Okay.
Alright guys, today we're here with Kit from Vyne. He's our first guest on this podcast trial. This is our pilot series, and we're getting him in here just to talk about what's going on in Vyne, what's new at Vyne, what's going on in 2025, plans for 2025, and a little bit about what's gone down in 2024.
I think the whole world is going down, man.
Dude,
Marketing is going down.
that's not how you start off a podcast, bro.
Elon Musk is in his own world.
Elon Musk is taking control over the United States.
Tariffs are going haywire. Europe doesn't know who to sell to. China's not buying anything. And then here we are starting a podcast.
No, but in all positivity, what's happened in 2024 that was good for you guys?
2024. I think our event went pretty well.
You guys did quite a bit of events.
Yeah, the event that we held in with Unwind, Corvino, and DC selection. I thought it was good because we had, how many people did we have total? I think we had close to 180 to 200 packs, which I think in the grand scheme of things, as a wine company and a company that does a lot of events that are not very, not very traditional to a lot of people, we kind of expose the industry to the possibilities of us being a bit more adventurous and a bit more risky in some sense. So for us to grow from our first event with you guys with 75 people.
Less than that.
Yeah, less than that until
Way
now.
less than half
200 plus possibly. I think it's a good achievement within 3 years.
Well, I was there at the event.
Yeah.
I noticed that the demographic has been sort of shifting also, right? Like the wine consuming population, we see more younger consumers, not so much, uncles and aunties are still there, but then I think majority of it are now, the ones who are attending the events are mostly young fellas, right?
Yeah. You saw my
I saw your mom.
Saw
your mom.
My dad, and then
Your mom is always very enthusiastic.
you guys see my grandma, so
Oh, she there?
yeah, my grandma was there. She was the only grandma that was sticking out in a sea of like super
20-year-olds.
hip. Yeah, let's have something. My grandma said, "Mày做乜嘢你咁?"
婆婆，很好婆婆。
Yeah, my papa was there. But yeah, you're right. It was a good mix of people from all different ages. What was cool about it though last year was we had a lot more tourists. As in, how do I put this? Like expats, Angmo, from different parts of KL. Whereas the first few times we did it was very much just locals.
But why is that surprising for you though? I mean, they're quite used to the idea of wine drinking, right?
That's
and
true.
wine tasting.
I think it's more so like because we were expecting our audience, we're only exposing our audience to the local market. We don't really target the expats that much. Even if we do, most of the audience are just buying wine from us, like through website. I didn't expect them to actually be there.
Could it be because you were so kind of, or at least in our industry, it's quite difficult to sell to expats, purely because they have exposed themselves to much more affordable wines in their home country. So for example, you go to Europe and you drink like a bottle for like 10 bucks, 10 euros, right? You come here and it's like 200 ringgit in the restaurant. You're like, why would I want to drink that bottle here when I've seen it at that price before? And they live there.
But they are based here now, what? You think they can?
I don't know, but then they may shift the way that they drink. They may not drink wines. They may choose cheaper alternatives like beer.
No, I think he's right. He has got a point because a lot of the assumptions about us is that because expats know wine and technically they come here, they're
assumption.
Yeah, these are massive assumptions, and I hope we don't get caught up by it, lah. But
don't hold back.
But at the same time, our just general thinking is expats got money, ma. They come in, live among Kiara. Obviously, you feel like they got money to spend, but in reality, the expats that come here are maybe expats that want to get out of their country but expect a much lower cost of living here.
Okay.
Right? From a from like an apple comparison, country to country, you may get the same bottle in the UK, for example, but then when it comes over here, the bottle is so much more expensive. So their perceived value of the bottle is then obscured really lah. Then that kind of affects the way we do our marketing as well. Our marketing strategy now goes to, instead of targeting the expat, let's just target the local market. Not because they don't know more, it's just we feel like they understand the perception of value because you're in Malaysia and it's because it's a Muslim country and our prices
more
are like
neutral
that.
starting point.
Yeah, it's a very much more neutral starting point because if in the UK, all wines or alcohol in general is cheap. Right? You go to grocery store, it's like less. You can get smashed for like £2, or like one bottle of Zinfandel.
I don't think you can get smashed for £2. I think it's gonna take more than that.
You want to try me, bro? I've been there.
£2
barefoot.
What?
Sponsor me?
£2 to get hammered?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No. Bottle of Zinfandel, £2.
Dude,
one bottle of barefoot.
you went to school there, what, 20 years ago?
What 20 years?
20 years ago.
No lah, but okay, let's just say 10 years ago lah. 10 years ago, £2 to drink until you get drunk?
As a student,
Yeah,
you get
why
very
not?
cheap price, student price.
Wait, hold on. Why do you think this is such a discovery? Because in the US, we make the
Okay,
same. Right?
let's look at £2. £2, you multiply that by, okay, give it 6 lah. That's
Six.
12 ringgit, you know.
12 ringgit, yeah.
You're getting hammered on 12 ringgit.
100%.
Hard liquor, you get
Can. That one the cheap bottle lah. Minimum
yeah.
absolute bottle is like £6 or £5.
Yeah,
Not
£5
mistaken.
you can. Don't say
Seven-
alcohol lah, you know. Like
750 CL.
No wonder your brain cells are all so
What do you think we're doing a fucking podcast now, dude?
Why we're doing a podcast now?
All the brain juices coming back. Need to spill everything out.
But
it's cheap.
back to the topic on marketing to expats versus like locals. That means it's quite complicated for you guys because being online and if you're trying to get into different audiences, you need to change up the way that you speak or the way that
100%.
you market out, right?
100%.
I feel like that's the biggest challenge lah. You have to either choose one demographic and you stick with it,
Yep.
or if you do two and you're like completely diluted already.
Yep. No, you're right. I mean, you might be pointing out our weakness for Vyne, but also at the same time, you might be pointing out our strength. Ever since the start, I've always said, I started this about 5-6 years ago. We never really had a main identity and we never really had a main target audience. What we've done throughout our past 5 years has always been changing our demographics and just trying to adapt to different kinds of people and audiences. It does have an effect on how we manage our strategies, but I think from that weakness has become the strength because we've always now been able to be very, very agile with our audience.
Oh yeah, because you have to keep changing, right?
Continuously
Yeah.
changing, and I mean, some traditionalists would say, if you keep changing your strategy, you may not get the best results, and at the same time, your team may be demoralized or demotivated to do certain things because it never works. It's happened before. These are just struggles of being an e-commerce brand only, but at the same time, it's quite rewarding because at least we always continuously getting new ideas from everybody. So
where does it stand now? Like, what's the focus for Vyne in terms of demographic targeting?
for demographic targeting, maybe I start off with, let's just say last year. Last year, we actually wanted to make sure that we we maintained our loyal audience. Wanted to give them a bit more value in terms of whether it may be product pricing, new kinds of products, or different events for the loyal customers, right? Because we've seen an increase on our order value year on year with the same pool of customers.
Okay.
So traditionally, you feel okay lah.
Focus on the loyal ones.
Yeah, focus on loyal ones. It's completely fine. Why spend more money trying to get
new
people,
customers? Yeah.
Right. That was our focus for last year. But towards the tail end of last year, before I get into the reason, maybe some factors may affect it. Like after COVID, maybe some people are going on holiday. The US elections had an
Japan,
effect on.
everyone's going to Japan. Entire Malaysia is like conquering Japan for some weird reason.
Yeah.
I mean, not a weird reason lah. I mean, the yen is cheap and all, but
You can meet your
a
long
lot.
lost friend there.
Yeah.
My long lost friend.
Our long lost friend rather than here.
Oh yeah, you probably would meet them there than meet them here. Better chance to meeting a Malaysian there than here.
Oh,
And
I hate it.
that's crazy.
Sometimes you just don't want to meet people.
Yeah.
Right, never mind.
I think that's a therapy session for another time.
Just somewhat therapy, but not really. No, but I was saying, um, towards the tail end, we wanted to, towards the tail end, we were trying to talk to our loyal audience a little bit more intense. But towards the end, because of all these economic factors going through and demands are changing, we started to see a dip in our loyal customers. That kind of triggered us to think, okay, even though our AOVs year on year is improving.
What's an AOV?
Average order value.
Okay.
Right. So your average order value, if it's increasing, meaning your customer spend, your lifetime value is getting higher, right? For each
They
customer.
spend more per person.
They spend more per person. So traditionally, you just be like, okay, just optimize that. But the knock-on effect is you're missing out on the completely new audience, right? Which may have the potential to have higher lifetime value in the future.
But does it make sense to then assess who are these loyal customers and sort of doubling down on marketing to those type of people? Like it may not be the same people, but like let's say for example, this person comes to the store and he buys maybe Lawson's, for example, and you know that this kind of demographic, they love this flavor profile. So you just say like, okay, this guy likes photography, this guy likes I don't know, traveling. Okay, we find all the people who satisfy these requirements and we just bomb them with marketing.
You could do that, but this really depends on the current demographic that what is the data pool that you have currently. In however long your company has been around, whatever data that you have, that's the only data that you can leverage off. If this is just purely from my understanding, if your data pool is only clients that you've gathered for a very small amount, and you want to optimize on that specific target audience, like you mentioned, if this person only likes Lawson's and Sauvignon Blanc, how much people in your current pool can you optimize from? You need to get more people for you to optimize your data.
Okay, like expand the funnel.
Expand the bigger funnel, the traffic, right? Then another point that we're affected is in Malaysia the past 5 years, maybe the people that first came onto Vyne were a lot of, not say individuals our age, but maybe our generation, right? Who use very tech savvy, very device savvy, social media aware, and they use different kind of mediums compared to the older generation, which has a little bit more spending power. So
and the young fellas all cannot spend.
Not necessarily you cannot spend, but we think we
can't spend as much maybe.
Yeah, can't spend as much. They can't buy like 2-3 cartons at one time They buy 1 or 2 bottles, which is fair, right? You want to tap into, obviously everybody from a business point of view, you want to tap into somebody that can get 2-3 cartons, but the uncle don't know how to use Facebook Day. Don't know how to log in, password forget every day.
Have to call the son.
Have to call the son. Hey, how to change the password? Hey, the Wi-Fi is not working. How to connect? Hey, the internet, you pay already, all these kind of things. Then it becomes, it's just not optimized. Then
Is that what you get at home?
it's slowly becoming like therapy already.
You guys will get it? Why I get it too.
You get it also, is it?
Mr. Khan?
I feel like everybody will get it, man. If not,
I think our parents, the generation definitely will have to call us up and be like, hey, help us out with this.
well, they've gone to the extent now. I think TM has like a customer service or like a portal on the app to allow people to help old people or to put their son or anybody third party to help pay for them.
Oh wow!
And it's gone to that extent where people are like, fuck it. Instead of trying to make everyone change, let's just adhere to them and help them first before the whole wave comes in So it's about generational change. So I think that plays a very, very big important role.
So you were saying just now that the consumer base that you have on Vyne consists of mostly younger audiences, because they are sort of exposed to the idea of buying things online.
E-commerce.
Yeah, but then, so what's the problem with, not what's the problem, but why is there such a big challenge to converting the older generation or those who are not so tech savvy to get them to consume and to buy wines online? I think buying stuff online now, like Shopee and all, is just so easily available, right?
It's convenient.
But why is it challenging for wines and alcohol? Or is it just a wrong assumption, or is it like you guys are booming like crazy?
It's not a wrong assumption. I think it's just a matter. To me, it's just a matter of time, right? It's the law of diffusion. When for Instagram or any social media things came out, our parents, or at least the older generation, the boomers lah, they didn't think this was something that they should be spending our time on. But next thing you know, they're the ones sending us KL foodie videos. They're the ones sending us what's the next
boy, go and try this new
cafe
restaurant.
is open. Yeah, what's the next restaurant open? So it's a generational shift and a generational. You have to be patient with them lah. Eventually, they will come on board. Like how I think a lot of our moms and dads are very used to shopping on Shopee already.
Yeah.
Right.
Just a side thought. When you say online shopping, is it like only restricted within the website or social media? Because I also heard from a lot of my other friends' parents, they are all super gung shopping in the live
Some of them are
sales.
addicts. Oh, live?
Live
Oh,
sales,
that's
yeah. Facebook Live and stuff.
Yeah.
Hardcore.
No, that's also something that. So I actually didn't.
Oh
mention.
yeah, you talked about it before.
Yeah, I talked about it before with you, and maybe before we get into that, our goal at the end for 2025, let me start with that first, was because we're sort of at the end of 2024, we thought our loyal audience was kind of dropping off. Let's focus for 2025. Let's focus on new audiences. Focus on new audiences, but obviously at the same time still relate back to our loyal audience. So for 2025, that's going to be our goal. We're going to look into different mediums like TikTok. We're not on TikTok because I'm just not on TikTok. I mean, very truthfully, I started the brand thinking, yeah, I'm more tech savvy, I'm more social savvy. So let me just do things that I think was right for
Yeah, it makes sense to you also.
What makes sense to me, and I can control it in that way, so it will run on autopilot in some sense. After what 5 years now, social media has bloody changed, dude.
Yeah.
You know, people are not.
So many new players and all.
Honestly, people are not wearing clothes online. People again doing
No one's
that.
wearing
There's
clothes online?
OnlyFans. What? You know, I mean,
I don't know what kind of social media he's talking about, lah. But I mean, I don't see those kind of things online. Sure. I watch tennis videos.
Yeah. People are mixing random stuff. Do you
And
see
cute
that
cats.
Singaporean guy that's mixing Coca-Cola and baked beans? You know, it's a weird.
No, I don't watch
You
that.
didn't see that,
No.
bro. See, different generation. Bro. You're not there anymore.
We are
You
4
gotta
years
get with
apart.
the times,
We are
bro.
4 years apart, 5 years apart.
That's a big gap.
That's one generation, is it?
In the social media generation world, I think that's a big gap.
Oh, really?
I think it's a really, really big gap.
4 years?
Well, even 2 years is a big gap.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so things change. There are some things that, let's say for example, my younger staff, who's I think Kylie, 23, whatever they see, I'm
Damn,
like,
so
what the f- is that? I've never seen that before. Like, what is that? I mean, we talk about all the time when we meet. Oh, did you see the new trend? Did you see the funny thing? I'm like, no.
Because the algorithm works differently, is it? They target different content to
it's
younger kids.
hyper optimized.
Oh,
Maybe that's a topic that we can talk about next time. The struggles with hyper optimization. If you hyper optimize way too much, then especially for brands, it comes down to the question for brand owners: who do we want to target?
when we say hyper optimized, meaning what? The content is like hyper optimized to a particular group of people?
Particular group of people and particular maybe age group, or very much hyper optimized to their interest only. Like that means they only see their interest, they don't see anything else around them.
Oh.
Right? Which is then you're covering your exposure to different things, ma. Don't you
Wow.
think? To me, I don't
scary,
think that's
yeah.
right. I feel like you should be exposing yourself to multiple things.
Yeah.
So that you get multiple, like you get ideas and inspiration from different things.
So you need to be the one to program your own algorithm. Like, it means you need to be able to select different things to see. If not, if you keep clicking on the same cute cat stuff, then you only see cute cat stuff.
Yeah, I don't mind.
But human nature is like that. Right? If you like something,
exactly.
naturally you will want to see more of
You
it.
will want
right?
to see more of that. But the other side of the coin would be you are now limiting yourself to, being exposed to different things, lah. Which I don't know. Maybe this is a deeper level of life. You want to only be the must. Okay, maybe for me, I'm in somewhat logistics, so it's like you either be an expert, a pro in something in one industry, or you can be the that always says jack of all trades, master of none. Like you know
So you
about
touch a little bit of everything.
You
lah.
touch a little bit of everything, so you're always in some way keeping up to trend with what's happening. You never get lagged behind. That can go into a business philosophy or like a economic way of thinking, but we're talking about wine.
How did we get here? How did we get to this
so
point?
deep, bro?
So are you
It's
saying
this shit, man.
the current, like the new generation now, they are less curious to explore new things and just stick to
I don't want to.
That's interesting.
I don't want to make such a massive assumption. Maybe because we've all heard this before, lah, and who say, "Go man," from the younger generation. They'll say that, lah, because we're not giving them a voice. So that topic, I feel, is a great topic to start off with if we have somebody from that era. Yeah. Instead of
Someone come in. Anyone from the younger generation era can step in. We need another.
Kali,
We need another voice.
Kali, what do you think? Kali, what do you
We need
think?
a representative.
Ask her. You ask her. What did she say? What's your question?
No, I'm just because it's based on what you said, right? That now the new generation, the way they see things, right? They're very focused on what they like to see. So does that also means that they are actually not so curious about exploring something out of what they used to see or like to see?
To summarize, maybe her question is, how do you consume, like in the way you consume social media right now, what is your opinion on using just one social media app like Instagram?
I feel like to make it like simpler to understand, it's more just like how I observe like the people around me. It's more of like the younger generation now, they wanna do their own thing. They don't wanna follow trend.
They don't want to follow trend.
They don't want
They
to
want that.
follow
be
trend.
the trend.
They want to be like that. An
You
individual.
are the
lah.
trend.
You are an individual.
So even if they see something that they like, it's like,
So
nah,
what?
I'm not going to
No,
do
they
it.
will think that I can do better.
Damn.
Know better than that.
Look at Mia. Mia's like,
That's how it is.
what? Like,
It's true.
Wow.
Uh, maybe the question is, don't blame the generation, blame the therapist. Bloody therapists, I tell you, too good, too bloody good, you know.
The culture also lah. The culture that our
Yeah.
parents were brought up in,
That's
it's sort of
true.
like, you have to work your way through to move up the ranks. But then they've gotten that done, and then they gave us the privilege to
Yep,
sort of
yep,
be a
I
bit more
agree.
individualistic.
Yep.
Then now the next generation has gotten even more of that quote unquote
Extreme,
privilege lah.
Yeah.
So good lah. I mean, you get the chance to really be who you want to be.
And then also like super competitive, like because everyone's like thinking about something new, like
Yeah. Yeah,
It's very difficult.
things change so quickly,
I
right?
think it changes way too quickly. Which goes back to my point, lah.
Can't
To
keep up,
say
man.
that you cannot keep up anymore, right? Like you can ask Mia, you can ask the team. Last year we were like, we thought it was a good idea. By the time we executed it, released,
Too late already.
Like, outdated.
2 weeks later.
bruh.
Nope, that was so 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think on that note,
So there's no way to automate marketing, right? There's no way to say we're going to do one way and then let's just go all the way on this one method. Because by the time you know it, 6 months later, it's no longer relevant. This
Yeah,
podcast may
no.
not be relevant anymore. in the
no,
next
if
two-
anything,
two-
you're
2
2
minutes.
years too late, bro.
Yeah.
This studies we've been talking about it for 2 years. Hey, bro, you should do podcast, bro. Do, bro. Yeah, like, we sit down, we chat shit, lah, you know.
It's happening right now, okay?
Yeah.
We took 2 years to do it, it's
Yeah, at least we
happening.
did it. No, at least we did
At least we did it.
At
Cheers,
least
lah.
doing it.
Good
At
job,
least
lah.
doing
Good
it.
job.
Good job. Thanks, bro.
2025, New Year resolution.
Anything you want to say to the people that
Don't give up your dreams. Your dreams to do
Be the
podcast.
individual that
Trust
you
me.
are.
Be the trend. You are the trend. You are. You can change your what's it called?
What?
Your-
Your destiny. Ah.
No. Your he, she, they, all that.
Don't do that, bro. Not here. Your mic is
Cut
still
it out,
on.
cut it out,
Nope.
cut it out.
Nope. Tak boleh.
Change it to.
What is that?
I joke.
You are walking on a very thin line here.
Thin line. Just don't release it.
But speaking of trends, let's talk about trends for the wine industry.
Quite a trend
You
itself.
are seeing things from a retail perspective. I think you would have the best view on like how things are shifting, the demands from consumers. What's going to happen in 2025?
Before I begin, I think I can see it from importer perspective also. So you can see.
You can, whoa, okay, we're disclosing everything here. Huh? Okay,
I know
like
you,
that.
I know you, I know
like
you,
that.
I know what you're doing. You're not paying.
So what's going to happen?
Customer, you don't play supplier
who's
also.
not paying? Who's not paying? And now he's scared to say the stuff very loud. This one not paying, that one not paying.
You want wine?
No.
I can pour you a little bit more.
Have some more lah, we got a whole bottle.
I give you a hint of what you're going to drink later.
Don't hints lah. She doesn't need a hint. She will guess it. I will
Exactly.
be the one.
He's
I need the hint.
He's 1 for 6, He's only guessed 1 right. You've guessed, I think, 3, 4 correct already.
3 lah.
You're so bad at this.
Yeah.
Okay, what was the question? Sorry.
Trends 2025.
What kind of trends are we talking about?
I'm just
Marketing
seeing what,
trends, purchasing trends.
I think what people are going to ask for. What, are they drinking less wine?
Oh, you mean from a
Consumer's point of view.
Oh, from a consumer point of view. This is gonna be a big assumption, but I think the elephant.
I think everyone's betting on you right now, man. Like anyone who's watching now is gonna say, okay, whatever that you say, I am gonna do the exact thing.
Yeah. And then maybe share price will.
Yeah. What shares you have all will go up.
What wine do you bring in? I can say that. Stopa one, confirm, bro. Burgundy champagne, nah, trust me.
Hey, careful lah.
Cannot make it one. From a consumer level, all jokes aside, the elephant in the room is, I think alcohol globally is decreasing, unfortunately.
You see that here also?
It's tough to say. Not drastically, but from if we zero into each specific target audience in terms of age group, the age group, the baby boomer generation are definitely drinking less. The generation after them, which, well, do you know what they're called?
What, Gen...
After baby boomers.
Gen Z?
No,
Alpha.
right now.
What's the generation after baby boomers?
Gen Y? Gen X?
Gen X? Our parents.
Baby boomers.
I thought our parents are baby boomers.
Boomers are X lah, slash X lah.
Millennials.
Millennials.
Oh, millennials.
They are millennials.
We are millennials?
Yeah, they are millennials.
What year are you?
We are after millennials. Oh yeah, we're the last stage of millennials.
You are the last stage of millennials.
90.
I know that I'm a millennial.
We're not being specific, guys.
Wow.
You're not lah. You're Gen Z lah.
I'm actually a baby boomer. I don't know what he's talking about. I'm an old
I think you're mixing it up already lah.
Basically after the generation they don't drink at all, and then after that generation is millennials. Millennials are a bit more adventurous and a bit more, I won't say stable.
More exposed.
More exposed.
lah,
Yeah, I think because from the baby boomer generation, our parents were able to.
They do all the hard work.
Yeah, they do all the hard work, and then
we rip off their hard work.
yeah,
I think also
that's true. It's true.
baby boomers are all slowly dying.
Whoa.
Lesser quantity.
No, but I think if they're consuming less, is a lot to do with health reasons.
True.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's why,
Yeah.
health reasons.
Yeah.
I think it's a health reason. So I nothing to do with, like, to me nothing to do with power of spending. I think power of spending is dependent on each country for economical reasons. But I think it's a health thing.
Yes.
I do think it's a health thing, and I mean it goes in the early 2000s or in the 2010s. You can see quite a drastic increase in the amount of companies that got certified for organic or certified health practices, etc., sustainability.
Yeah.
So you can definitely see an agenda for health becoming more prevalent lah. So that trend for health is coming up, and then you always, I mean, the direct correlation is to alcohol, because alcohol generally has a negative connotation to it, negative effect. So that generation has stopped purchasing. The millennials are also somewhat a little bit more cautious in the way they consume alcohol. Even if they stop consuming alcohol, it's because maybe they don't stop. They just change the amount of alcohol percentage that's in it.
I don't understand. Meaning?
So they used to maybe drink a lot of whiskey,
Okay.
right? But let's assume if we sell a lot of whiskey, then we suddenly see a decline. But that same customer base is now purchasing a lot of alcohol that is a lot less. Like
less alcohol percentage.
Less alcohol percentage. Like maybe an alternative like wine. It may not be a direct comparison, but people want they want a alcohol that is a lot lower in percentage. So this is another trend that I may foresee for 2025.
Does it also work back to the issue of being healthier? Right after COVID, dude, everyone's like, I think kind of
Like a
scared,
global,
everyone's
you
just
mean
trying
like
to
a global intention to make everybody healthier?
Yeah, like everyone generally just wants to be healthier. They want to, not feel hungover, or they don't want to feel like they're killing themselves with alcohol. I don't know.
After COVID, I thought the economy kind of everybody is spending.
Yeah, but I think they also, I don't know. I mean, I feel like some people have developed that fear of like getting sick, like being really sick. They've seen people die or get really, really ill to the point of, maybe having to go to the hospital.
For you to want to be healthier, you have to first feel like shit.
I'm sure that pre-COVID, everyone knew what it felt like to just get shit-faced.
But from the extreme, let's just talk about the extremes, right? When, for example, if you get super wasted, and the next day you feel super shit, now you know what you're supposed to do.
And guess what happens after that?
A few more.
After 2 weeks later, you forget about that shit night, and then you come back again, and you say, okay, I'm gonna drink again.
But let's assume not everyone is like that. I think the majority of people is after you kena once, like a heartbreak, you kena once, you don't feel that again.
Okay, speaking from experience.
You know what I mean? Hey, shout out my people. Everybody had some heartbreaks before.
Shout out to all my ex-girlfriends, right?
No, we don't do that. We don't do that thing. But it's the same thing. Like what I'm trying to say is, if you felt something that's so shit, why would you want to feel it again? So maybe that's just the surface level thinking of a lot of people that don't want to drink a lot of alcohol now.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe people nowadays are possibly built different with the food that we're consuming. This is very deep, really. I think.
I mean, we're trying to figure out why people are drinking less.
Do you think food nowadays is better quality or not as good quality?
I feel like people are taking a lot of shortcuts now with food.
Shortcuts.
I don't know. From the food that I've
like
seen.
through supplements?
No, like shortcuts as in like they're trying to get food out faster. And they're trying to, cutting costs is definitely a thing that's been going on. So how do I cut costs? How do I get food out faster?
Of course.
So then, it results in poorer quality
of food.
I feel
that the root cause, the root cause is then capitalism.
Maybe. I don't know. Or maybe they're just trying to survive because times are pretty bad, right? So they're trying to cut whatever corners they can cut to just make the extra few percentage points.
100%. Investor pressure, capitalism. Everybody just wants to retain their wealth.
Yeah, man.
Wealth retention.
Yeah.
It's also a possibility. But I to add to your point, I think food is not as healthy as it used to be.
Yeah. I find myself cooking more at home. So I choose the things that I cook.
Yeah, what do you cook?
Pasta.
Pasta very healthy, is it?
Pasta healthy. Have you checked the ingredient list behind the pasta labels?
I think pasta is it's not unhealthy. It's almost as unhealthy as like maybe rice.
Pasta's pretty healthy.
Think so?
You don't eat just pasta, you mix it with meat and vegetables.
Balanced diet.
I'm not saying that I just boil the pasta, eat the pasta just raw like that. I'm like.
I know some people that just put pasta and black pepper. I swear to you, on God.
You have weird friends, man.
Hey, whoever's hearing me, I know you know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, you know who you're talking about. Black pepper and pasta is a real thing.
I'm sorry to call you guys weird, but I understand.
That's weird.
I think what you mean about healthy also is that the amount you pay, you can get a proper balanced meal. Rice, you couldn't say it's unhealthy or healthy, it's carbs, right? It's part of that nutrient that you need. But what's important is in that plate of food, you need to have balanced carbs, enough vegetable and meat. Combine. And in order to get that proper healthy plate of food, it either costs you a lot.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so now if it's a balanced meal, is what, at least $30?
Yeah.
$30?
I don't know, it's crazy.
Really? My max is like 20. I mean, not saying lecha. Lots of lecha.
Lecha?
Lecha is maybe.
Lecha's got meat inside?
No meat, only vegetables.
You need meat. Where's the
Protein
protein?
from tofu. Tofu.
Okay lah, not too bad also lah.
Yeah.
Tofu, okay.
I'm just looking at any form of alternative to not maybe like break the bank. Like bang for your buck meal, lecha, soup, a bit of rice if you want, but loads of greens. and you got proteins in there as well.
So
I gotta.
You are also getting healthier, is it? Your
Yeah.
food options?
Yeah. Oh fuck yeah. Yeah. Mine is balance. You know, we're talking about balanced diet. So I'm not gonna say I'm not in that spectrum where I want to stop drinking alcohol or reduce my alcohol consumption.
So you're drinking the same amount as before?
If not more, maybe.
More?
Possible.
Okay.
But not more. Okay, I wouldn't say more
You're the
as for
exception
quantity,
here.
more on like regularity. So I'm being more consistent on how much I consume a day instead of at one time I go all out.
No binge drinking.
No binge drinking. Like you can do a glass or 2 glasses a day. I'm okay with that. But to do like on one day, let's say, a bottle of tequila.
Bringing back all kinds of memories, man.
Flashbacks here and there everywhere.
Singapore.
Flashbacks.
Vin Expo.
But the no, I don't do that anymore. I don't think my body can handle that anymore. So in terms of consumption, my alcohol has been probably the same.
Okay, just more frequent lah.
More frequent. Yeah, more frequent. So I'm healthier in some sense, but do I want? I mean, is it a choice? Yes. Am I forced to it? No. It's more of I want to be that way.
Well, I feel it kind of weird because for me, like, I've been cutting down on alcohol quite a bit, and I noticed that when I start drinking a little bit, my body doesn't take it well anymore.
Really?
Yeah. So like I can have these couple of glasses, right? I may not feel so good tomorrow morning.
Like in what sense? Like just
I feel like I'm hungover. I feel like I'm hungover after a couple of glasses.
Can we have JC to verify this? Fact or fiction?
She doesn't know how I feel inside.
That should be a new segment. Or do you?
Whoa!
I think they heard that.
Water for me, please.
But verify. Curious.
He's getting a little more ultra sensitive of his body.
You're very aware.
Or either that
you're hyper aware now.
Catching up, his tolerance is
No, it's good.
Tolerance
comes with age, ma.
No, tolerance as in not alcohol tolerance, more like the uncomfortable feeling tolerance. Some people it's like a little bit uncomfortable.
It's like your pain sensitivity. Like you tolerate pain less. This I tolerate hungover.
Oh, tolerance sensitivity.
Maybe. Actually, yeah, that's a good insight. Maybe.
You
do know me inside better.
Who's a therapist? I'm not doing enough job. What the hell?
To me, how I see it, it's basically like eating chili, right?
Yep.
We are eating the same.
If not more. Yeah.
Of nasi lemak,
Yeah.
And I can like no feeling, but to him it's like a little bit damn spicy.
Tolerance.
I cannot take it.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So last time maybe the feeling is still the same after he drinks.
Okay.
But now he cannot tolerate
that uncomfortable feeling. Oh, I think I can resonate with what you're saying. Maybe that's why I don't really want to binge drink anymore.
Yeah.
Because the more I do and the more I just get hungover, I'm like, nah, screw this, man. I'm not going to do that anymore. Yeah. So I rather spread out you spread out the consumption of alcohol through the week. You can tahan.
You get hungover the next day. You just like, just hungover, then tomorrow will be better.
Yeah.
That's what we do. But now it's like, oh my gosh, I have to drink this, I don't have to do that.
This is the last time I'm doing it.
Yeah. So do you think this is a time? I mean, this if not justifies a lot of new brands trying to prevent that from happening. The new brands that come up with supplement like what's the one that
what the morning after or something?
Sorry, what?
Whoa, no,
wait,
no,
what?
No, what's it called?
Hey, yo, that happens on a different scale.
No, what's it called? Morning after, right?
No, bounce back.
Shit, no.
Bounce back.
I didn't know what it was called. That's the first thing that came to my mind. What are we talking about here? Oh, that's a loud sip.
Bounce back. Himalaya, those what do you call it? Electrolytes boosters for people who...
Oh, I think these are rehydration packets lah.
Bro, they're just rehydration salts.
Yeah,
and the way we're saying it's just salts, but which I believe.
Hey, Tungwei, where are you? Yeah, hey, that was a good tip.
Hey, the fellow better come here next time.
Yeah, that was a good tip.
Yeah. But this came with the rise of all these brands coming out now lah. So people don't want to feel. I mean, they want to tolerate. I mean, their pain tolerance for having a hangover is not as good as it used to be. So
But
they're,
they still want to have fun.
of course,
So they.
why not? Because you can't let go of the. I mean, the matter of the fact is, alcohol is a social.
Entertainment.
Yeah, it's entertainment. It's a form of entertainment. It's a form of socialization.
Do you think that non-alcoholic beverages would be a replacement to that? Like non-alcoholic
That's
wine?
a very good segment, my friend. Wow, fantastic work.
Thank you.
Degree holder.
No, but really, will it be a possible
no.
alternative?
No, I don't think so. I genuinely do not think so. I think it's
But there's a boom though, right? Like in Europe and all.
yeah, it is a boom. I've read some articles or like heard some people say zero alcohol is meant to replace beer, or I mean, they're a substitute for wine, beer. What other zero alcohols are there? Cider,
Beer, spirits even.
etc.
Yeah,
Zero,
zero
0%.
alcohol. Yeah, like or like 0.5. Ridiculously low amounts of alcohol.
Why? Okay, the people who actually drink alcohol because they do it, because they like it, are probably not going to see that as an alternative. Right? I think it depends on
What
how
do
they see
you like
alcohol.
about alcohol?
Yeah, what do you
Like,
like,
what do you
about
like about
alcohol?
alcohol?
It
The
depends
effects
on
of
people.
alcohol?
Is it the effects or is it how it makes you feel?
No, the effects of alcohol or the taste of it?
You really taste alcohol? You feel alcohol?
But alcohol is always associated to taste, right? Because if you drink, you need to taste it,
Okay.
isn't
okay.
it? Like, I mean, if I drink wine, I prioritize the flavor aspect of wine.
Flavor aspect.
I have no, if I can drink wines and not have any effect from it, perfect.
Oh, okay.
In an ideal world,
okay.
The wine
See what
has
you mean.
alcohol, but it doesn't affect me at all. I don't get buzzed.
Right,
Perfect.
right, and you're okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is your thought about non-alcoholic wine?
My thoughts on non-alcoholic wine, whether I would drink it,
Yeah, because you're prioritizing the flavor. I prioritize maybe the part and parcel of having wine as an alcoholic beverage. I like the flavor, yes, but that's not my priority. I kind of like one because it allows me to socialize a little bit easier, right? But the people
effects
who,
of it,
the effects of it. But the effects of some people who have alcohol just purely for the alcohol, they can't be put in the category as people who might drink like zero alcohol. Zero alcohol.
Okay, let's just say like, basically what you're saying is that those fellows who drink alcohol to get drunk, just to get drunk, solely to get drunk,
They won't
go.
You have to
definitely won't drink
completely cut
alcoholic.
them off. Completely cut them off. And
But
then
I don't think they make up a majority, right? I think they are a very small part of the population of alcohol
Exactly.
consumers.
But okay,
don't
if you
think so?
say that, but if you say
I mean, this
that,
is just assumptions.
then how where's the justification to include the people that don't even drink alcohol to begin with? How do these companies who make zero alcohol assume that people who don't drink alcohol will now start drinking wine, for example? Because why would they try? I'm suddenly just trying to understand how to.
Wait, I'm still trying to understand what you're saying. So you're saying that these companies who are making non-alcoholic wines, what is the justification for them to even consider doing non-alcoholic wines in the first place?
Correct. Is it to target people who want to drink wine? Sorry, who want to consume lesser alcohol?
Okay.
Or is it to target consumers who don't drink alcohol at all, but now they have an option to consider because it's zero alcohol?
Oh.
Maybe because they just want to fit in.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, where is the justification? Where's the research that say that, okay, in a group of 10 people who don't drink alcohol at all, how many percentage of people actually say, yeah, I will probably get a bottle of this once a week. This just because it's wine, but you buy it because there's no alcohol now. If I'm a consumer, I wouldn't. I personally, if I don't drink alcohol, why start now? Oh, if I don't drink wine, sorry, I'm gonna say alcohol. Why? If I'm drinking wine, and then a company starts to make zero alcohol wine, why would I, as a consumer that don't drink wine, now start drinking zero alcohol wine?
Maybe
It has to be intrinsic.
Maybe it's like a vegetarian wants to eat a plant-based meat. They want to have variety.
But actually, in general speaking, it's all marketing, I feel. Because non-alcoholic drinks or non-alcoholic wine is basically any other ordinary beverage that doesn't contain alcohol, right? It's just that they package it and make it into a wine bottle, add some bubble. But come on,
Yes, it is about marketing.
Like now you see mineral water, you have flavors in it.
Oh, I love that.
Non-alcoholic, yeah,
I love that.
to me, you put that mineral water, whatever thing, into a wine bottle, it's the same thing. To me, it's about marketing. So now I'm curious why they want to market this drink as a wine.
Correct, because it's not wine. Because
It's not wine.
it'll have an economic effect on it. If we bring in wine and we categorize it under the HS code, I mean a bit technical lah, but we categorize it as wine, customs will be like, ini wine. So kita mesti bayar duty untuk wine lah. Tapi you're like,
No
there's
alcohol.
no alcohol. How is
So
it wine?
how do you multiply?
Right?
That's one. And
Very
then-
grey area.
Yeah.
Very, very.
So I think that these companies who already make wine and are trying to make non-alcoholic wines, or they are making non-alcoholic wines as an alternative, are trying to sell these products to consumers who, I think I told you this before. I had this conversation with one of the guys who were making these wines. They say something quite interesting. So I asked them the question. I said, if we were to try to bring in non-alcoholic wines here into Malaysia, where we understand the population is made up of predominantly Muslims, so does it make sense for us to bring in to try to sell it to them, being non-alcoholic, and if it's certified halal also, if it's able to be certified halal, is there a possibility that this will be accepted by a different consuming market? So then they say something very interesting. They say that the way that non-alcoholic wines work, and the way that if it does work well for them, it's usually in markets where there is a very strong culture of drinking wines, where it almost becomes like, it almost feels to
Water.
them it's like a habit already. It's a culture that is stuck to them, this idea of drinking wines,
Right.
that it's just so ingrained in them that in the case that someday they have some kind of illnesses, or if they become pregnant, or if they have they are on certain medications and they can't drink
It's like end of the world for them.
this is an alternative that is readily available. They can say, okay, I can't drink wine, but I can drink a non-alcoholic wine, and it's,
Same.
yeah, it tastes close enough. So it satisfies that desire to drink. But for us in Malaysia, I don't think that we have this deep culture of sipping wines for our
No,
meal. We don't have
okay.
that.
It's a very abnormal thing.
Yeah, so if we want to bring something like this,
It's like konjac.
what's konjac?
You know, konjac noodle, konjac jelly. Voila, people try to replace noodles with konjac. 0-calorie noodle food substitute. Literally 0 calories. They used to make char kway teow. I was like, it's like eating char kway teow, but not eating char kway teow. Bro, I think it'd be different lah. But I agree. I can see.
Yes,
I can see where that logic comes from, because it starts with an addiction, ma. Borderline addiction.
Borderline addiction, a
It's just
culture lah.
coping mechanism, lor.
But do you think besides that also they also factor in like health?
No.
Yeah, I think got a small portion lah. I think got a small portion.
I have a bias against this health thing.
Making of non-alcoholic wine, I'm not sure, but what are they putting inside? Calorie?
No lah,
Sugar?
It's just
no, the wine is made like a
Actually,
wine.
that's
It's just
a
that it
great
goes
question.
through a process of removing the alcohol.
that's how they make non-alcoholic wine. They
Yeah.
remove, so memang already got alcohol.
Yes.
But they remove it.
So
Yes.
It's still grapes.
Yes. It's made as a wine.
So it still has the varietal
Yes.
vintage and all those.
Yes.
I know the girl.
So it's just like the juice up.
No, it's not grape juice, because grape juice is not fermented. This is fermented.
Yeah, fermented already. They are removing the alcohol.
But my philosophy is always that
Oh, so it's like, for example, sorry, just to add on, it's like you make orange juice, memang got sugar, but the juice you don't want sugar, you take out sugar. How to remove sugar? I have no clue.
you then lame like you.
No, but it's correct. I'm just trying to understand.
Something like that lah. The analogy is not like 100% like for like, but then yeah, you can kind of imagine like you make it already, then you remove an element out of it.
That's crazy. Science and technology.
This is physics.
I thought biology.
No. No, it's chem. It's physics.
It's not maths lah, actually.
Oh, it's actually Chinese.
Oh,
Okay, this is too much. This is too much already. I think you're gonna call it a day. I think we had pretty good insights lah. I think into what's going on with the industry. Yeah. So I think that's about it for today. I think what did we do?
Summary.
A summary. You wanna do a summary?
I can't remember.
Fuck, I want to do a summary for what? Just rewatch rewatch the video again.
Okay. But I mean, it's a nice closing line. In future, somebody can just note down what are the key things that we said, and then to
Who's
close it
taking
off.
notes? No one's taking notes. No one's taking notes.
Okay. Then I guess next time we'll try to remember what we said. Just write down what we said.
Okay, we call it a day. Thanks for coming in, Kit. That's the first episode of
My pleasure.
Fact
or fiction.
Sip or
Sip or tell.
sip or suck. Okay, bye.
Sip or suck. Okay.
Suck.
Sip sucks. Sipping sucks.